What's up, guys? Back with another video. Again, thanks for all the likes and comments. Keep them coming. I'm going to start trying to put out more and more videos, so stay tuned. Today, I want to talk a little bit about my Pelican case and how I have it set up and why. So this is a Pelican 1650. Pretty big case, but I had this idea that I wanted to get a case that didn't necessarily look like a full-blown rifle case, thin, super long. You know, nobody carries anything in those except for rifles, so I figured if I was ever gonna fly, I would want something that maybe looks like it could have anything in it, some sort of equipment, instrumentation. So the first thing, obviously, you can see is I have a ton of stickers on this. So that totally blows your cover, in my opinion. So why do I have them on there? Well, first of all, I have never flown with this case. Second of all, I have been collecting stickers for like 10 years and never put them on anything because I didn't want to put them on my car. And so I finally got tired of looking at them and put them on my case. So, you know, ideally, if you were going to go with a setup like this, maybe go with a black and don't put anything on it just in case. But I think that this is, you know, a durable case that would be good for flying. Obviously, it has two lock spots. So anyway, 1650. Here was my thought. I could get two AR-15 uppers and two lowers and have some extra space for ammo and stuff. And it would work with the depth of the case. So here's what it looks like. So I do have the Trek Pack system in this. If you've not heard of it, it's essentially a system of dividers that you can rearrange using these pins to kind of hold them in place. And so you can see right here, I've actually got an extra sheet, which I'll pull out. And so I had cut another divider this length to use. And so here's what it looks like. Not super thick, but decent padding. I mean, it could take an impact. And so you can see all the little slots. Those line up with these pins, so you can kind of hold two together just by pushing it down. So pretty simple system, but effective. So you can buy the 1650 with no foam. You can buy it with a pick and pluck, which can be a real hassle, we all know, or you can buy it directly with one of these Trek Pack systems. They are kind of expensive. Don't quote me on the price, but it's gonna be a couple $100, especially for a case this size. So again, you can always buy extras. I did end up buying an extra couple pieces for this because I couldn't get enough in the length to go the full length of the case. And so I did have to buy a couple extras. So again, decent padding. I don't think you'd have any problems flying with this, but you can see how I have it set up. I've got two uppers and two lowers, each in their own divider. And so you can see on my top one that, you know, with an optic mounted in a 1.7 Badger mount, it's still, you know, a good 4 or 6 inches from the top of the case. And that was kind of my thought. You know, I had plenty of depth. The way Pelican cases are, it's kind of hard to find one that meets all the size criteria of what you're looking to do. And so this one was good. Now, obviously, in reality, if you turned this whole thing upside down, you would, you know, have this much play in it. Obviously, it's got some room to move around. So, you know, is that a big deal? I have my stocks collapsed on the lowers. You know, I could go out in position too, you know, so it doesn't move around a lot. But again, it just depends on what you're going to do with it. I really just take this to the range, and I hadn't used it for a really long time, mainly because it's really heavy. Of course, it has wheels. It has the extending handle, which you kind of need on this. But again, if you're going to take two full ARs with accessories, there's only so many ways that you can do it. And I feel like this, instead of having two assembled ARs laying flat in a case, this is just a different way to try and use the same amount of space and still get the same result. A couple of downfalls. You can see right now, they flex. And here's the issue. They're good, but they only attach at the top. These pins with the flags on them, that's the only thing holding it. So what can happen is, it can flip either way because it's not attached on the bottom. Now, it's not a deal breaker when it's full because the things don't have that much room to move around, but it is a downfall because eventually, you know, in my little junk corner over here, it can get pushed out and then small stuff can work its way underneath, and it's just a pain in the butt. Underneath, when you buy the full kit, underneath this is the foam that's softer, that's more like the lid foam, so it's not super stiff. So, like I said, underneath, stuff can slide underneath these dividers and get kind of mixed up. I mean, if you put loose rounds in there, they probably, you know, try and migrate all over the place. So, kind of a downfall. The other thing that you can see is when you buy the kit, the outside ring is all one piece and it's specifically cut for your case. So all you do is put it in, fold it around the corners, and then connect it. You can see I've actually drilled through, I've drilled through the case and put screws with washers and nuts to hold the outside foam to keep it from pulling off of the case. What would happen is, if I had that upper on this end with the optic and a suppressor, it's got some weight to it. If the case ever got turned where that was on the top, the weight of that would just pull everything down, and the protector around the outside would just pull away from the wall. So, I mean, actually kind of would get bent in that position. So not ideal. So I ended up, you know, drilling through the Pelican case. I know did I de-waterproof it? I don't know. But, you know, that's just one option to try and hold it. I mean, two-sided tape or Velcro wasn't probably going to get it. So I just went that route. Again, just something to consider. I think it's a decent system. I can't say that this is the best option. It's just an option for you guys to think about. Both of these uppers are 13.9 and 14 inches, and they both have cans on them. This is a full-size SOCOM RC2, and that's the Sandman K. So again, you've got length. I mean, you could get a 16-inch without a can. You could probably even get an 18-inch with just an A2 in here. Lengthwise, I'd measure it obviously beforehand, but you know, again, to me, this was one option to get two uppers and two lowers and have enough room for ammo and stuff. I can actually move these. I gave them a little extra room, but I can actually move that divider down and put this other one back in, because I did have a smaller strip at the top where I would put mags, loaded mags, and ammo. So, you know, you could really load this thing up with all the extra space. You know, you could totally put things in with the uppers. You could put them on top of the rails and put, I mean, you could easily put 500 plus rounds of 223 in here, you know, and a handgun and other stuff, and it really wouldn't. I'm not really concerned about stuff getting banged around in here. Like I said, the padding itself is decent, so I think it'd be okay. It just depends on what you want to do. So again, just a consideration. Pelican 1650. I think it's a good case. It is really heavy. I mean, I wheel this thing around as much as I can. So just something for you guys to think about. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks a lot.